Cyprus has a subtropical climate, Mediterranean and semi-arid type, according to Car paragraph PPEN climate classification signs Csa and BSh, with very mild winters and warm to hot summers. Snow is possible only in the Troodos mountains in the central part of the island. Rain occurs mainly in winter, with summer being generally dry. Temperatures: Cyprus has the warmest climate and warmest winters in the Mediterranean part of the European Union. The average annual temperature on the coast is around 24 degrees Celsius during the day and 14 degrees Celsius at night. Generally a Euro-summer's holiday season lasts about 8 months. It begins in April, with average temperatures of 23 degrees Celsius during the day and 13 degrees Celsius at night, and ends in November, with average temperatures of 23 degrees Celsius during the day and 14 degrees Celsius at night. In the remaining 4 months of the year, temperatures still sometimes exceed 20 degrees Celsius. Among all cities in the Mediterranean part of the European Union, Limassol has the warmest winters. In the period January-February, the average temperature is 18 degrees Celsius during the day and 9 degrees Celsius at night. In other coastal locations in Cyprus, the temperature is generally 17 degrees Celsius during the day and 9 degrees Celsius at night. In March and December in Limassol the average is 20 degrees Celsius during the day and 11 degrees Celsius at night. Other coastal locations in Cyprus are generally 19 degrees Celsius during the day and 11 degrees Celsius at night. The middle of summer is usually hot, with an average coastal temperature of around 33 degrees Celsius during the day and around 23 degrees Celsius at night. In the center of the island the highlands the average temperature exceeds 35 degrees Celsius, while between June and September on the coast the average temperature is usually around 30 degrees Celsius during the day and around 20 degrees Celsius at night. While large temperature fluctuations are rare on the coast, the center of Cyprus has more variations typically colder winters and hotter summers. Temperature of sea: the average annual temperature of the sea around Cyprus is 22 degrees Celsius, from 17 degrees Celsius in February to 28 degrees Celsius in August. In the 7 months from May to November the average sea temperature exceeds 20 degrees Celsius. Sunshine: Cyprus receives an average of 2,700 to 3,500 hours per year. In winter, Cyprus receives an average of 5 to 6 hours of sunlight per day, half of the 12 to 13 hours experienced at the height of summer. This is about double that of cities in the northern half of Europe. For comparison, London has 1,461 hours. However, in winter there can be more than 4 times more sunshine. For comparison, London has 37 hours while coastal locations in Cyprus have around 180 hours of sunshine in December. Charts of selected locations. On the coast inland Precipitation: the higher mountain areas are cooler and moister than the rest of the island. They receive the heaviest annual rainfall, which may be as much as 1,000 millimeters. Sharp frost also occurs in the higher districts, which are usually blanketed with snow during the first months of the year. Precipitation increases from 450 mm up the southwestern windward slopes to nearly 1,100 mm at the top of the Troodos Massif. The narrow ridge of the Kyrenia Range, stretching 160 km from west to east along the extreme north of the island, produces a relatively small increase in rainfall of around 550 mm along its ridge at an elevation of 1,000 meters. Plains along the northern coast and in the Karpas Peninsula area average 400 to 450 mm of annual rainfall. The least rainfall occurs in the Mashauria, with 300 to 400 mm a year. Variability in annual rainfall is characteristic for the island, however, and droughts are frequent and sometimes severe. Statistical analysis of rainfall in Cyprus reveals a decreasing trend of rainfall amounts in the last 30 years. Earthquakes, usually not destructive, occur from time to time. Rainfall in the warmer months contributes little or nothing to water resources and agriculture. Autumn and winter rainfall, on which agriculture and water supply generally depend, is somewhat variable from year to year. Other information: the Mediterranean climate, warm and rather dry, with rainfall mainly between November and March, favors agriculture. In general, the island experiences mild wet winters and dry hot summers. Variations in temperature and rainfall are governed by altitude and, to a lesser extent, distance from the coast. Hot, dry summers from mid-May to mid-September and rainy, rather changeable winters from November to mid-March are separated by short autumn and spring seasons. In summer the island is mainly under the influence of a shallow trough of low pressure extending from the Great Continental Depression centered over Western Asia. It is a season of high temperatures with almost cloudless skies. In winter Cyprus is near the track of fairly frequent small depressions which cross the Mediterranean Sea from west to east between the continental anticyclone of Eurasia and the generally low-pressure belt of North Africa. These depressions give periods of disturbed weather usually lasting for a day or so and produce most of the annual precipitation, the average rainfall from December to February being about 60% of the average annual total precipitation for the island as a whole, which is 500 millimeters. Humidity: relative humidity of the air is on average between 60% and 80% in winter and between 40% and 60% in summer, with even lower values over inland areas around midday. Fog is infrequent and visibility is generally very good. Sunshine is abundant during the whole year and particularly from April to September when the average duration of bright sunshine exceeds 11 hours per day. Winds are generally light to moderate and variable in direction. Strong winds may occur sometimes, but gales are infrequent over Cyprus and are mainly confined to exposed coastal areas as well as areas at high elevation. Temperature and precipitation charts. References: Peel, M.C. and Finlayson, B.L. and McMahon, T.A. Updated World Map of the Car Paragraph PPE in a Euro Geiger Climate Classification. Hydril. Earthsist. Sci 11, 1633 Euro 1644. doi, 10.5194/HES11, 1633-2007. ISSN 1027-5606. CIA Factbook, Geographic Location, Meteorological Service, Climatological and Meteorological Reports. AB Cyprus Climate Guide. Retrieved June 5, 2009. AB Met Office, Climate Averages 1971 to 2000. Met Office. Meteorological Service, Climatological and Meteorological Reports. 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 Meteorological Service, Climatological and Meteorological Reports.